Today we are going to go over Section 3, Unit 1, Vocal Music, and we're going to review Lesson 1, The Voice as a Musical Instrument. For the introduction, we have musical instruments have unique timbres, which are sounds or tone colors, and these identifying timbres help us recognize the source of a musical sound. In this unit, you'll learn about a very specific instrument with unique sound qualities, which is the human voice. Now, the voice is a unique instrument. Your voice is one of your most distinguishing characteristics. It is part of your personality, part of what makes you you. And when you hear a familiar voice, you are able to identify the speaker even if you can't see the person's face. Your ability to make this identification or recognize this is based upon unique vocal properties, including timbre, register, and range. Timbre describes the tone quality of a voice or instrument. The tone quality means, is it raspy, is it soft, is it loud? But the register are vocal ranges. The register describes if it's higher or low. How high can a person's voice get? How low can a person's voice get? These are usually characterized as high, low, or medium in pitch. That is for register. Now, when you're looking at a range, that describes the distance between the lowest and highest pitches of the voice. Everybody has a timbre to their voice, everybody has a register, and everybody has a range to their voice. So when you go to characterize the voice or describe what type of voice you have, singers normally rely on the unique qualities of their voices to differentiate themselves from other performers. So you have to think of your favorite singer and think, when you hear their voice on the radio, you do recognize them right away, whether they're male or female. So in your online book, go back and do the listening activity, especially for Johnny Cash, The Ring of Fire. You can go back and also do the Emotional Roller Coaster by Vivian Green. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I Try, I Need to Know. These are all great examples to do the listening activity. Alright, so we're also going to go back and look at operatic voices. Now, we discussed just recently these registers about how up here it says that those are vocal ranges. So registers means that we have high, highest, high, middle, and low. And we have those ranges for the male and the female. Now, the human voice has a wide range and a variety of timbres. So the system below that we're going to go over is a classifying system that classifies women and men voices as soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And this was developed in Europe in the 17th century. This was a time when opera, the very popular theater music of the period, became increasingly complex and demanding. So the particular vocal characteristics of opera were greatly extended, and they extended range, especially at the top of the voice, and they were now requiring singers to have increased volume and projection. So the first one that we're going to look at for the female is the coloratura, and this is the highest register. This is the soprano voice that is light and flexible enough to perform rapid scales and trills. So the coloratura is at the highest range of the female voice and is able to move quickly, swiftly, and smoothly. The next voice, the high voice, is the soprano, the high female register. Underneath that, you have the mezzo-soprano, who deals with the middle range of the female voice, and this is the intermediate female voice that sings in the lower part of the soprano range. So again, you have coloratura, soprano, mezzo-soprano, and now you have the contralto, which is a low female register with a full, rich, dark, and powerful quality. It tries to mimic that quality of a man's voice, but still has the timbre, the sound quality of a female voice. So in your online textbook, go through and do these listening activities with the female vocal personalities. So on the other hand, we have male voices. The very highest male voice is the countertenor. This is the highest male voice with a falsetto range and quality and a register in the female alto range. So the countertenor and the contralto are the male and female voices that try to go back and forth and access the tone quality of the other gender's register. So the next highest male voice is the tenor, the high male range with a powerful ringing quality. And the next male voice underneath the tenor is the baritone, the intermediate male voice. And lastly, we have the bass, which is the lowest male register with a rich, robust, resonant, and full quality. Please go back in your online textbook and go to the listening playlist so that you can listen to these male vocal personalities. So what we see now is this crossover between operatic and pop music. So during the last decade, many trained opera singers have kind of migrated into the lucrative pop music market. So, for example, we have Andrea Bocelli. He is a major international success and has made him well known as many pop stars. Another crossover singer is Charlotte Church. With international record sales topping almost 10 million albums, Church is one of the world's most successful classical crossover artists. By the age of only 14, she had already performed for the former President Clinton and Queen Elizabeth of England. So please go back in your online textbook and do the listening activity with Bobby McFerrin. So when we go back in, we're going to go do the vocal register in the timbre. So we're going to kind of do a list of words here that kind of describes each vocal qualities. Okay? So we have certain things that work within our body to help us make these vocal sounds. A lot of the things that we look at, we have, of course, we have our brain. We also have the epiglottis, our throat, our voice box, which is our larynx, which is down in here. We have the windpipe, or the trachea. You have the chest wall and the muscle that's there. You have your lungs and your diaphragm. Also on the other end, you have abdominal muscles, your vocal cords or your vocal folds, which are right in here, your tongue, your lips, your oral cavity, which is the space on the inside of your mouth, the soft palate, which lies on the very top of your mouth, which if you feel at the front of your teeth on the upper part of your mouth, that is the hard palate. But if you keep going back, it gets softer and softer and softer. It's the soft place that you can put your tongue at the top of your mouth. You also have your nasal cavity and of course your brain at the top. So all of these work together to create vocal sounds. What happens is when you take a breath in, your diaphragm expands, the bottom of your lungs expand, the top of your lungs expand, your epiglottis will open up along with your throat, your vocal cords will become thinner and smaller on each side, and then when you exhale, your diaphragm gets smaller. The air in your lungs will escape upwards out through your throat, and all of that air resonates in your oral cavity in your mouth. It passes out through your lips. It can even come out through your nose, but it resonates up here in your nasal cavities where we call the mask of your face. That is where it resonates. So when you go to sing, all of these terms are important to know that this is what takes part in making vocal sounds. So when you have the chance, go back and go into your book and try to do these female vocal personalities. See if you can identify the mezzo, the soprano, and the contralto. Now we do want to take a second here and meet the musician Marian Anderson. When Mrs. Anderson returned to the United States, she found many doors closed to her because she was an African American. In 1939, she was refused access to the most prestigious concert hall in Washington, D.C. So, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt helped remedy this injustice. So instead of Constitution Hall, Anderson's concert was moved to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. An audience of 75,000 people assembled to hear her. She sang the piece, "My Country, 'Tis of Thee, Sweet Land of Liberty." She later said, "I had no bitterness then, and I have no bitterness now." And when you get the chance, go back into your book and analyze some of the male vocal personalities. See if you can match them up. with the countertenor, tenor, baritone, and bass. Also, take the time to go back and listen to soprano Charlotte Church. So, the last activity in your book was going through and listening to Andrea Bocelli. He is a operatic singer born in 1958, and he grew up on a family farm in the Tuscany region of Italy. He began singing at an early age, and he recalls being asked frequently as a child to sing for relatives. So since then, he has performed on national television, at the White House, and even for the Pope at the Vatican. So he is a worldwide successful singer. He takes the time to make sure that what he sings is of quality. And as of right now, his Time to Say Goodbye has sold more than 1 million copies throughout the world. So know that that is the end of Section 3, Unit 1, Lesson 1.